Greetings and salutations to everyone good now. It is Thursday. It's currently 1522 hours. I just got out of a big conference type meeting at work. We talked about road safety, reducing traffic deaths and collisions and injuries, steps we can do to do that, brainstorm some ideas, etc. The moral of the story was primarily slow down, don't blow through construction sites. To which I say, if you're going to go fast, because you are, I can't stop you. It's a free country. I go fast sometimes. Be safe. Know your surroundings. Know your environment. Don't put yourself or anyone else in unnecessary danger. Basically, be intelligent about it. And please, 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 I say this as a roadway professional, obey the speed limit in work zones, slow down to the posted speed limit, or 5 over, or whatever, and also the same goes for school zones. Driving is the most dangerous activity that most of us do on a regular basis. It shouldn't be that hard. A lot of people struggle with it, apparently. But what I want to say is, be smart, be safe, and make good choices when you're driving. If you're coming up on a yellow light and it turns red, and you have the ability to stop within a reasonable distance, do it. Okay? The 30 seconds it's going to save you is not going to be worth it if you get in a wreck. Simple as. Now, different story if you're hauling something. Like, I've hauled cars and trailers that severely limited my stopping ability, and as a result, I was much more conscious of what I was doing, where I was driving. I'm also a CDL holder, so like I drive commercial vehicles semi-often. And so I pay attention. All right, pay attention, be aware, and know that, like, for example, right now I'm coming up on a yellow light. I have ample stopping time. And even if I was towing a trailer, I was doing 30 miles an hour, I have enough time to stop. Now, if I was halfway closer hauling something, or if I was in a commercial vehicle, I knew I wouldn't have enough stopping time. And so I just have to make an educated decision, look left and right, and I'm probably going to blow the red just because physics is not on my side. But be aware, okay? That's all I can say. Now then, car talk. I know that some of you have missed this, and some of you probably don't give a damn. But car talk is back, baby. Car talk in the car, as it were. Mechanic talk, I guess. The Beetle Lift project is underway. I received the shocks today, and later on, the struts, coil springs, mounts, it just got delivered. I just got the notification. And hardware and whatnot, well, it's here, I guess. So everything is now delivered to lift the Beetle. And that's pretty cool. And so maybe this weekend, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But one of these days, when I take my next rest day, I will spend essentially the whole day doing Beetle stuff, lifting it up. I don't think it'll take that long. I could probably get it done in a few hours, but I'd like to have the whole day to just kind of, feel out. Because you always run into things that you didn't expect whenever you tear into a car. And you might strip a bolt, you might break something off, you might be like, oh crap, I actually need this part and I don't have it, I might be missing some hardware, might have ordered the wrong stuff, etc. But anyway, so got the coil springs, the struts. I'm still waiting on the lift kit. So when the lift kit shows up, then I can put everything together and start putting it in. Lift kit is necessary for this purpose. Okay, see, right there, guy cut me off. And I had to slam on the brakes because he's a moron. Aware driving.
Incoming voice call from plus.
I keep getting spam calls all the time, but that's life. But yeah, he made a sudden and dangerous lane change. There was nobody in front of him, nobody in the other lane, so I don't know why he chose to do that. And it looks like he has kids in the car. But you can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid, boys. Anyway. So yeah, once the spacers and the lift kit gets delivered, I will assemble everything. I will assemble the struts, I will assemble the shocks, I'll put the mounts on, and I will put everything in, including, like so, the assembled strut towers, the rear coils, the shocks with spacers, and we will have a tall Beetle. Now, I have discussed in like some brief manner the concept of making said Beetle, this car, all-wheel drive. And there's options for it, but I've done an intense amount of research at this point, and I've come to the conclusion that the absolute best way to do this is to get a wrecked Audi TT Quattro, a Gen 1 from 99 to 04, I think, and just cannibalize every single part off of it. Now, the transmission from those is not geared the same as a TDI. Actually, funny enough, the 5-speed O2J in TDIs, in Mark IV TDIs, is the lowest, it's the longest gear. That 5th gear is the longest gear that was available in any Volkswagen transmission. So, ironically, you're going to get your best fuel mileage out of a 5-speed. Just because I think the final gear is a ratio of like 0.756 or something quite low. And that's going to get you your best fuel mileage. Even the tallest geared 6-speed only has, I think the final gear, like 6th gear, even on the tallest one is like 0.82, at 0.806, I think officially, which is, a hell of a lot more than 5th gear in this. So, and of course it weighs more. So you're actually going to get decreased fuel economy with a 6-speed transmission. And perhaps a lower top speed. But anyway, regardless, all of the gearings in the 6 speeds that are available, and for this application, a Mark IV, I need an O2M code, or O2M transmission, and all of the codes are basically the same. And in fact, although the codes are different between the gas and the diesel and the VR6 6 speeds, and some of the intermediate gears are slightly different, they all have the same 6th gear. It's all 0.82. Not every single one, but for the VR6, the 2.0 turbo, and the TDI, they're all so close together that it really doesn't matter which one you pick if you are looking to 6-speed swap your 5-speed Volkswagen. It doesn't matter. Now, some of them, like the 1.8 and the 2.5 6-speeds, I think, some of them have a higher ratio, like significantly higher, like final is like 0.91 or something like that. That'll make a difference. But not a significant amount, not enough for my purposes to change the project. And anyway, so if I get a TT Quattro, aka 4Motion, aka all-wheel drive, I believe that the 225 horsepower ones have that low final gear, that 0.82. And even if it doesn't, whatever. But I got to get a donor. I got to get a wrecked car because I can pull literally everything I need off of it to make it work. And when it comes to, so Haldex, or the system that Audi, Volkswagen uses for their modern all-wheel drive, in the 90s, like 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, they had something called Syncro, which was full-time all-wheel drive. Not as strong, easier to work on, but a lot harder to find nowadays because it was never made in the North American market, or it was never made in the US market, and it was only available for like 2 or 3 years in Canada. So finding one of those is a bear. And you also have to modify the bell housing to fit onto your motor. So anyway, the point is, like, I'll get this transmission out of a TT, the drive shaft, the front axles, the rear axles, the differential, the transaxle, or transfer case, excuse me, the rear knuckles, the rear bearing, the drive shaft bearing, the brakes, the wheel hubs, all that. And I will just cannibalize all of that onto this Beetle. And it's all pretty much plug and play. The only issue that we come into is, yikes. So mom just manhandling her kid, pushing him around. Anyway, the only issue you come into in that regard is mounting. Well, there's two. Main one is mounting the drive shaft. That bearing in the middle. On a TT, they're the mounting holes, their M12 bolts, are actually part of the body, like part of the unibody frame on a TT. And so I've got two options there. I can either like find a way to get those holes to like either tap them or like weld in some square stock and tap that, or like use like a nut rivet or something, a nutsert I think they're called, on the frame of this and use the OEM style bearing mount. Or I can cut the bearing off, get the bearing off of a Mark 6 R32 Golf Type R, and the accompanying brackets, mounting brackets for a Mark 6 Golf R, weld those on to the tunnel in the underside of the Beetle, and then use the Mark 6 bearing mount. And honestly, like, trying to rig up the OEM thing is going to be cheaper and easier. Most likely, I don't know about easier, but it's going to be cheaper. So that's going to be the route I'm going to try to go with at first. Just finding a way to like drill and tap and see if there's enough metal on the frame to do that. That'd be great. If not, I can use like a nutsert. And if that doesn't work, then I can weld on some extra, like some square stock, like solid square stock or square tubing, and thread that in one way or another just to get it to mount. The other issue you run into is actually getting the all-wheel drive system to run. What Volkswagen uses and Audi uses is called Haldex, and it is not a full-time all-wheel drive system. It is like kind of like a smart system, and it uses input from your ECU, whether that's like throttle, speed, acceleration, boost, whatever, and it tells the system how much power to divert to the rear wheels. And usually, like 90% of the time, you're going to be running about 80-20. It's capable of 50-50, but it only does that if you're just like super hard launching from like first gear, etc. Now, you can, if you're good at wiring, and I'm not, and I hate electrical, you can wire up the OEM system, and it will communicate with your computer and stuff if you know what you're doing. Or you can get an adapter, which is much easier to wire, but still requires wiring, and you have to dig into your CAN bus and splice wires together and stuff, and it's, again, doable. I don't love wiring, though. If I find like a really good tutorial video, I might consider it. But the other option, which is like wrong and silly, and you shouldn't do this, but I might, is you can take out the clutch packs from your transfer case and weld it and have a welded diff in there. It's still got a limited slip. It's just that the transfer case, the transfer gears are welded, so you have full-time mechanical 50/50 all-wheel drive. Kind of like a Subaru, which has full-time all-wheel drive. Can't park there. And that is the cheapest and easiest option. And I don't really care about the mileage, so to speak. I don't really care about like the wear on the parts, because it's going to be a toy, a project anyway. So that's probably the route I'm going to go with, is a full-time mechanical 50/50 all-wheel drive system. But anyway, I've managed to talk about a Beetle for 16 minutes here, so that's enough yapping. I'm going to get in there, hop on the treadmill, and then I will see you for, I believe, shoulders. All right. All right, I got some dumbbell shoulder press, and I'm warmed up already, so I'm going to jump into the 80s, and hopefully it goes well. Got 2 sets of 8. I tried 85s last week and got 7, so hopefully I can get 8 on the 80s. That is the plan, at least. All right, here we go. So we can get the setup to go well. It really wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. All right. Heart rate is going. Definitely pumping some blood. Let's hit the second set. Okay, hang on a second. Scratch my nose, and we'll kill this. Ready? Okay. All right, damn near knocked the bench over, so we'll call it 7. Upright rows, 2 sets of 12, 115 on the bar. Same as the last 2 or 3 times. Nothing to it, boys, except to do it easier when it's over. Trying to find a grip that doesn't hurt my wrist, but nothing's happening, so we'll just finish it out. I'd say nothing's helping. Ooh, those were hard today. Goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying, but I can't seem to catch my breath today. I know it's the same weight as the last 2 or 3 times I did it, but it's heavy today. I mean, it's lightweight, obviously. Lightweight, baby, but it's heavy. You know what I mean? Anyway. I'm gonna try to go for no breaks on this one. And just get it done. Boo! Yep. Ain't nothing but a peanut. Oh. Lateral raise, baby. This is 20s. Oh. You don't need a lot of weight for these, I'll tell you what. Alright. Gotta get it done. All right, I think there's face pulls. All right, face pulls. I'm gonna try something different because this is already set up and I don't feel like messing with it. But we got like these handles, and it might be a little bit nicer in my hands than grabbing the rope. So I'm gonna give it a shot, you know, and we'll see. But 2 sets of 12. I have 100 pounds in the stack. So let's see how it goes. Channels might not be quite long enough. Might punch myself in the face, but hey, that's fine. Might make me prettier. All right, here we go. Yep, little bit. Need a little bit of length on that. I'll scoot it. Okay, so while that wasn't bad necessarily, the lack of reach and angle, I'm just going to switch back to the rope. All right, let's finish it out. I could probably benefit for some chalk here, but I don't care. You know, it'd be ideal is if, like, nah, screw it. Too much thinking, not enough lifting. Woo! I think we have our stupid ass rear delt fly things next. Okay, so rope push downs, then delt flies, rear delt flies, and then T-posts. I'll film this. Got the 100 pounds, probably too much, but hey, screw it. 2 sets of 15. And if it's too much, then whatever. I'll drop the weight. Who cares? In case you doubted it was 100, just about pick me up off the ground there. And I'm 180. Mercy. All right, let's do another one. Okay, a little bit more cheaty on that set. Okay, so I'm gonna mix it up. I didn't want to do the bench thing, so I'm gonna try to do some standing, like, rear delt flies on this free motion machine. And I'm still gonna do 2 sets of 20. I'm gonna try to, because it's 35 on here, so that's like 70 total. It's kind of heavy, but we'll give it a shot. So here we go. I don't know if the camera angle is gonna be good. Y'all can deal with it. Straining my neck. Okay. I was like 16. You're gonna have to drop the weight. Okay. Finish it up. I dropped it down to 30 pounds, which is 60. 30 each side, which is 60 total. So let's try it out. Here we go. Got a little sloppy, but I wanted to finish it up. T-posts, familiar territory, unfriendly territory. Oh.
Uh, oh, yeah, it's getting tough. But this is the last thing, so I'll hit this other set and then do the pose down, which is what 70% of you or more are actually here for anyway. Yeah. Here we go. Elbow's acting up a little bit. My wrist. I don't know if you heard that pop there, but that was my wrist. Last one. Come on. Woo! All right. Let me get set up and I'll hit some poses for you. Definitely have a pump. I can feel it through the shirt. Let's inspect the damage here. I'm shiny because I'm really sweaty. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty gnarly. Look at that. The fucking, pardon me, the striations there. Holy goodness. There's layers like an onion. This hurts my elbow so bad. But it looks so cool. Get you a little rear delt action. How about that? You can tell I carved up the other day. Was that yesterday? I don't remember. I think it was. That's some freaking boulders right there. Oh. That's a shoulder pump. That's probably the freaking biggest shoulder pump I've ever had in my life. Just two big old friggin' coconuts on top of my arms. All right. I don't know what the special fancy pose should be for today. I can get, yeah. I don't know. I guess I always struggle. There's not much that like really accentuates the delts. I guess I could just do the freaking Marcus Rule. You know what I'm. If you follow bodybuilding, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get a good one of those. Come on. Anyway, my BW parts probably won't be in until the 11th. So, who knows? I will see you when I see you, though. Next, it'll probably be tomorrow for legs. Take care.